Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another installment in the Quickview series. This one, notably, a redux. This is a redux, and this is an oft-requested redux, which, Lord help me, I could have done a long time ago, because the vehicle with the tire in question, obviously in the thumbnail, has been hanging right above this. There's a giant tire rack. It's fairly giant. It holds about, what have we determined? 15, 30, 32 sets of tires. Right on the other side of those 32 sets of tires has been the rig fitted with this, with crawlers. With Predator crawlers. So, I think the last... Okay, it's been about 18 months since these were tested in the original test, and they long predated the tire testing protocol. Tire testing protocol is recently, let's not say perfected, that would be ridiculous, but we've arrived at a format and a formula where we do the 10 stations and we test them. I want to say, was the last ones? I honestly can't remember. It's been 18 months. I can't remember if they were G8 or Predator. They predate the protocol. If they were part of the protocol, we wouldn't be here. But if they had been part of the protocol, it would say in the description whether I was testing G8. Let me see if I can bring it up. Whether it were G8 or Predator. These are Predator, so they are definitely a redux. Not only are they a Predator, they're on fancy Vanquish beadlocks, and they have Crawler Innovations Lil Novas. Also, wait, no, we got to do this part. Is it a class 2? We know that it is. Oh, that foam getting it 124. So that foam is, I mean, the foam feels great. I mean, the Crawler Innovations are great. They're just very expensive. By 44. So that foam is definitely pulling it in, also narrower wheel, pulling it in and pushing it up. So we're a little bit taller and a little bit narrower. Also, further, let me get to this part before I ramble off on something else. We are fitted with wheels. You can see how flat that SLW is, and this one has. So we're looking at probably 8 millimeters more track width in the front than in the rear. So we've got that full compy pinch. I didn't bother to unmount them. It's a redux anyway. We might as well test them as optimized as possible. You know what? Does that look bigger to you than that? It does, doesn't it? What did we say? What was it? 124 by 44? Does that sound right? 122. They look way bigger than that. By, yeah, like 45, 46. So there's a different profile. These, I mean, they feel identical. We can't go by bench feel on these. No weighted rings in them, to the best of my perceptive abilities. But we're kind of at the fringe edge of Predator weather. We're having a resurgence of summer. So the daytime high today will be 105, according to the old weather app, which means in reality about 110. So it is barely 7 o'clock in the morning. It's already 75 degrees outside. I was hoping for an optimized Predator weather type of experience, and as I mentioned, I could have if I had remembered that these tires have been here for like a year, sitting on a vehicle over there for like a year. It just, I don't know, out of sight, out of mind, I guess. Also, I need to take we're going to take this off one more time. Okay. All right. This is, without question, the redux-iest redux that we've ever done. Might as well take off both. This is how I know what are the front and what are the rear, because of the offset. But then you will also notice blue dot, orange dot. So, because I was like, look at how different those look in terms of color. The size is also slightly different. I mean, the mold should be exactly the same, right? Yeah, I mean, but that is a very different appearance in those two tires. So, these came in on a vehicle that was very recently donated to the Canyon. And the gentleman who donated it has moved far away to a faraway land, and sent me a text message and was like, yeah, that rig belongs to the Canyon now. So these are the tires from that rig in question. So he is not immediately available for him to ask, why Predator fronts and G8 rears? I'm assuming there's a reason. Maybe we're going to get something alchemical out of this. When we push the fender down, you can really see the difference in that offset. Look how far tucked that is. So that about 8 millimeters is definitely something. 124 tall is not something that I anticipated. That's almost 4 13/16. So most of the other tires are actually just running short. We see a lot of 118, which is like just above 4 5/8, just under 4 3/4. I'm very curious now. We've got fancy wheels, fancy inserts. We have a mix. Predator in the front and G8 in the rear. Baseline is ready. We should do well. I have said in the past vocally, and I'll say it again, the Crawler could be so much more than it is if it wasn't restricted to being in the Proline compounds of G8 and Predator. Because G8 is it is not the one. Like, in terms of longevity versus performance, it does not return on investment in my experience. Predator does really well, particularly in wet, but we come back to that temperature thing. If it's 75 degrees outside in the air, which means it's probably about 75 degrees outside on the rocks, we're already above where these tires would be optimal. They would like it around 60 on the rocks is where they'd be really happiest. If the sun were hitting them and we get up to like 80, 85, Predator falls off. I basically can't run Predator compound tires here because they only work about 5 months out of the year. This is the desert, after all. So we have the compound that is really kind of right in the middle, and then we have the compound that is great. I guess if you live in Scandinavia, which I don't. So this is maybe the redux-iest redux. I can't think of another one. We've got mixed compounds, used tires on hopped up inserts. I keep looking. I'm looking at my live view, and I keep looking at right here. And I keep thinking, 16 for the insert, 34 for the tire, that's 50. And then about, geez, what are we looking at? 35, 40 for the wheel total out of the full set with the optional rings. Yikes. So a full set, close to $300. What sits before you is close to $300 in wheels, tires, and inserts. It is wild. Absolutely wild. When up near the top of the leaderboard are Injora silicone pins on Injora pins on silicone inserts, which with the wheels and tires cost $75. So I want to see something. I have genuinely no idea what to anticipate. Can I remember the performance in the last video? I can't remember what I filmed 48 hours ago. A year and a half? It's not going to happen. So we're double dipping. We're going back to the well to test Proline crawlers again. Then we'll get an official score. Ish. Like, how do we score that? You know what? Let's go outside and maybe we can figure it out together. This might be the greatest redux ever. It's the redux-iest redux ever because, like, how do we even put this on the spreadsheet. It's two compounds at the same time. It's aftermarket foams. It's this might be, well, we'll see. Yeah, this might be neo hyper optimized. That was a fairly straight pull with very little in the way of hesitation. I hope that the camera shows it as well as what my eye picks up. The front and rear tires look so different to me. On the one hand, we have the fun of G8 and Predator simultaneously. Some lug noise. There it is. Yeah, you got to find a specific spot. I know people have a very soft and or warm spot in their hearts for the Crawler. I was just discussing this very recently with someone about the Crawler, which is, were the Crawler to come in any other compound, just take the mold that they make Crawlers out of and pour any other compound in there. Pour Louise Super Soft, J-Concepts Green, Vanquish Red. Oh my goodness. The Crawler, based on its construction, like the thickness of the sidewall, the placement of the lug, you make the Crawler with the K in Vanquish Red, it'd be the best tire Vanquish ever made. Just run away, because they don't know how to make a tire right. If the compound is super soft, they make the tire far too thin, far too compliant, and then you're relying on the foam. I don't think that G8 nor Predator rely on the insert as much as Vanquish tires do. Yeah, how do I score this other than just ignoring the fact that they are a mismatch, that we're dealing with, for the first time, compound. Let's see on the dead go. They have there's an aspect to the way the Crawler crawls, hey, that depending on how you feel about maneuverability is either a bug or a feature. That being no chevron to the tread to speak of. It's a block tread. The tire doesn't have it doesn't tramline you. It doesn't say, oh, I'm going to follow this. It just kind of goes, and then if it can't get through that spot, you just kind of sit there and spin your tires. So there is something to a tire that doesn't bully you around, like right here. I can't really. Yeah, you gotta put the work in, which generally is what I classify as a driver's tire. You have to put in more of the work, and I think for a lot of people that comes through more as a feature than a bug. People like a tire that is manipulable. I am undecided. I almost said indecisive, but I'm undecided. Because it's a tire that has what genuinely seems to be a fan base. Show it to me. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, that was really good. That was really good. There was no hesitation on the pull-up there. It also, so many glimmering breakthroughs on the morning. I had never really looked at G8 sitting next to Predator to realize that they are completely different in terms of color. When the foam is in them, one tire stands taller than the other is wider than the other, and they're on the same wheel. We'll drop there, pull back. Oh yeah, no, that's super strong. And then a little hesitation. I think we're getting the best and the worst all at once It's real strange. It's real strange. No one would ever try to make the claim that there's no difference between G8 and Predator. And here, what I'm seeing is, it's not, okay, they're more alike than they are different, honestly. If it was 90 degrees out here, we would see a real difference. The rear end would begin rapidly outdriving the front because the front would be sliding around. But, you know, in the 70s on the rocks, there's still that little bit of slide out from the front. But yeah, those Predators are absolutely grabbing. And then you get that little bit of slip. The fronts are doing more work right now. The Predator is pulling harder than the G8. Again, unsurprisingly. But if we were to pause and pick this up about 4 hours into the future, when it's in the mid-90s, we would be seeing something completely different. So, do I think that this true combo, collaboration, is optimized? Very nearly. This is very nearly as good as this particular setup can get. And for me, that's where the problem lies. The Crawler, maybe it's environment, maybe it is the bias that many people have accused me of having. The Crawler, I have seen do, the set that I tested initially, some year and a half ago, were on the stock foams, and they had been driven enough that they were full feathered and the foam had been pummeled into submission. There was basically nothing left. And that they would pull that thing around. Side hilling was not great. There's no real foam to hold them in place. Here's my problem with the Crawler overall. That is, we're moving towards this tire being optimized. Baseline is a little bit lighter than the rig that these came off of. And that is certainly contributing to the feel of the rig being a little more tippy. But I look at it like we're not even getting close to making it over to the transition. I'm looking at how the tire feels midway, like when we get into the heart of the side hill right here. There's an unpredictability, bugger feature, there's an unpredictability of way we have grip and slip. Both the grip and the slip are somewhat unpredictable. Is part of this due to a not quite perfect insert match? What did I say? Neo hyper optimization for the tire. Not less than a pound difference between this rig and the rig they run on normally. And this is the problem. We are. It feels to me like we are desperately trying to make fetch work or happen. And we change the insert, we change all of these things, and we still arrive at a place where there's another tire that will do this job without the hullabaloo, without the rigmarole. The Crawler, in my experience then and my experience now, is a competent and capable tire. But we have unquestionably seen other tires do more for less. Pull it, nope. There's enough of a traction differential between Predator and G8 that it is kind of a problem. If the front can hook, we can pull the rear end over. It really feels like we're making it work though. And again, coming down to bug and feature, There's that driver's tire component to it, but I am not in favor of this level of unpredictability. They've got grip, particularly the Predator. The Predator really does it on the lateral. If you flip these around, oh man, it would not be good. It would not be good, because then we wouldn't have that extra pulling power from the front. But right here, there's a bit of a rock right under driver rear. And we're trying to position that so that we can get the front to a spot where it can pull over. We'll drop back there. We'll drop back there. I have to be far too selective. And I don't know if it's the overall low weight of the Vanquish wheels. I don't know if it's the way the Novas are reacting. It's kind of all over the place. There's an unpredictable, there's traction, sure, but there's an unpredictability here that at the same time, I'm thinking, if we take away some of that side hill support, right? We soften up the sidewall. What is that gonna do? It's that we're so very close. We're so very close. And again, if you think about the expenditure to get to where they are, the Crawlers plus the Crawler Innovations, one with a K, one with a C, I don't see the return. And it only gets worse, because I have a rig in there from whence these tires came, from whence these full combos came, and I would love to just slap them back on that rig and be like, we're set. But I feel like we're gonna end up having to do a whole nother tire testival to find the tires that sing the sweetest song. These are so very good in one moment, and then in another moment, as if they are of mercurial temperament, just change, just absolutely change. I am unstable and unpredictable all together at once. Let's see about the pull here. Coming across, coming across. See, right there, proper good. And then we're stuck. I also the 8 millimeters or so of track. I don't think that there's any advantage in this on baseline. I don't think we're getting any advantage from that at all. We would be more consistent if we were the same track width front and rear. Yeah, great through that. Oh, there's a rotating mass problem in that we've gone too, and then again, just pull it around. Okay. Are we gonna get the slide, or are we gonna stay down? We're gonna stay down. That's coming in a little tight. Yeah, right there, it felt as maneuverable as it has felt since I mounted them. Like, that was really good. Don't. Get a little further forward, then we can cut. And we're hoping we don't swing the rear end, but like, you see what I'm saying? The combo is so light, even compared to what we're typically running on like an Amazon Method 105. And this is the thing. This is the crux. And I don't want to say it's specifically the Crawler, because I don't think it is. I think it comes back to the compounds again. There's an unforgiving nature to the compounds. That was tremendous up through there. That was really good. Had pushed too far right and managed to claw it back. Descends well, but there is unquestionably a degree of unpredictability in forward drive, in side bite, in side hill, in everything. Just an unpredictability. And I think that is, I guess the word is genetic. It's in the tire. Proline tires can be, there's no way to say this that doesn't sound terrible, can be made or broken by the completion of the combo. And yes, to a degree that applies to every tire, to some degree. Absolutely strong right there. Just when I say something, it's like, yeah, watch me work. That is stellar in that pullover like that. But the thing is that me? Hey everybody. There is almost an early corrosion of confidence for me that I'm not sure that this thing is going to do things reproducibly. This should flop super easy. Okay, nice. Got a little spicy on the run back. I was wondering if that narrower rear offset was going to impact. It's just some tires fight you, and I mean it's good. It's good. We're definitely, something is going to happen here today, which is we're going to arrive at a number, and I'm not sure that number is indicative. I don't think, like, if I had to mentally procure a number, if I had to interpolate a number, the number that we're going to get by adding these numbers on the board together is not going to be the same number. Because remember what I had just said about, is it reproducible? There's something chaotic about this combo. So if nothing else, I think that this particular test session will serve at the very least to frustrate the guy that maintains the spreadsheet, because I don't know how to score this. The board is going to give us a score. We're going to get an aggregate score once we finish over here and we hit this thing on wet. And I don't know, at this point, I don't know if that score is indicative of anything. I know that there are subjective factors at play here. And one could make a fairly compelling argument that, well, your foam is too stiff, or your foam is too light, or you're running a mixed compound and that's weird. You could make any of these arguments, but we have certainly seen moments where these tires look like they've got the abilities. They definitely do the thing. They definitely float over the soft stuff. Cut it back down. Let's see if we can dig the hole and then dig our way out. Okay, we're dug in. Give it a little attitude. Yeah, the Crawler is a great-ish tread layout. And they come near to the correct ratio of, like, carcass thickness versus softness of the compound, amount of lug versus amount of negative space. But then it's always like ... question mark? That's what I'm feeling the whole time, because I see where my turn is and I'm looking at the line that I want to take, and there's this, will it stay in that line this time? It stayed in it before, but will it stay in it now? I don't know. What I should have done is sat down and watched my own video on what the original test of the Crawler looked like, but I didn't think to do that. Yep. Oh, see, that's really good. Really good. There's really good interspersed with, why is this behaving this way? And if it was a simple foam issue, oh, well, your insert is too firm. Well, then why is it so good and I'm pointing my thumb over my shoulder at other obstacles. Why is it so good at those obstacles? I beat the dead horse until it is flat like tortilla, that there's a total available amount of grip in a tire. No matter what you do to that tire, you're not going to really increase that number. You can make it worse, and you can just put a rock hard insert in it or take the insert out altogether. But you're going to land at a level of traction, which is what that tire has. The Crawler is almost unpredictable. When you queue up to an obstacle, if you have a notion, oh, it's going to do this, it might not. And then when we got over to dead limit and we're just doing those soft pull-ups, so easy, so easy. It made the amount of forward drive look greater than it had up to that point, which is crazy. Like, I don't know, it's chaos. The Crawler with a Crawler Innovations in it, let's just say it, the Crawler in this combo is chaotic. It really does not complain about mixed surface though. That's really solid right there. I understand why people like these. Then we come back around to me and my problems. Maybe I'm projecting, but I don't want to have to work this hard for a tire. Like, we would have to audition inserts, and we would have to try different layouts of the tire and the insert and different firmnesses, and I can get another tire that I just slap a silicone in it and it works. So all we need to do then is see the wet, and then I guess we'll know something. I don't know what we'll know. Again, there we go. Absolute just forward, just like no problem, no hesitation. Apparently, after the tires got dusty and loaded in over a teardrop, we pull harder now. I don't know. Let's get that little. Sometimes I feel like when we add the water, we're just cleaning it off, because some tires. I already did the pre-math. Yeah, that was better. Wait, let's see, through the last. No, that was better. That's the best it's done up that. So now we'll make sure they're wet all across. Make sure they're wet. Okay, and now get that little drop in. We're on a very slick section. Come across there. That's basically the hardest section to pull up right there. Absolutely no problem. So it's usually, a tire either does really, really badly, or there's a small reduction between wet and dry. This is that somewhat more rare no reduction between wet and dry. So we do indeed arrive at a number. We put them all together and we arrive at a 96.4, which is good, but I'm starting to feel like on the leaderboard, that's like, is that somewhere in the middle? It's out of the top 10, I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves. 96.4, I'm trying to, some of the numbers are starting to infiltrate a longer term memory. I want to say that the J Concepts hunk is in that mid 96s. It's like a 96.5 or a 96.6. That tracks. That tracks. You know what? I'm pretty solidly okay with that. I would put this almost at a parity. Like, I would put Crawler and Hunk side by side. The Crawler has Crawler problem, which are these intrinsic things. There's no directionality to the tread, and we have basically a monolug. So it's going to give you that unpredictability. It's going to be, apparently, from what I've gathered, they're fairly picky about their insert choice. And that fairly is very important. The Crawler is a tire that is going to do well for you. In some applications on some rig, if the thing is incidentally or intentionally optimized, you're going to get a really high level of performance. But here's what happens. Here's the drawback, fallback caveat. You might put an insert in there. Like, I wouldn't run these inserts in these tires on this rig. They're too firm, and there's not enough mass to keep them pressed down. I would need something even softer with, believe it or not, less sidewall support. On another rig, these might be unbelievable. And that is kind of the problem. If a tire is fairly good on one insert, it might be a little better, a little bit worse. But if it's good enough, if it's just good enough, you might not investigate. You might say, "Oh, well, I'm fine. I don't need to change these. These are great. They do the things that I want." These, I'm sure, on the rig that they were outfitted to, they do the things. And this comes from this position. So now I don't even know if we're explicitly talking so much about crawlers, about this tire specifically. When you've tested as many tires as I have, the differences are far smaller than the similarities. And I mean that in both ways. Tires are more similar than they are dissimilar. But also, those differences can be small but significant. Changing the insert in this to one step softer, or changing the rear to just a single stage, might be the difference to push it up the leaderboard. It might be the difference in the performance going to another level. And that unpredictability, much like, and again, there's another dead horse parallel to the other dead horse, which is what I call the swamper problem. The swamper has a problem where it has what I call a weak shoulder because of the shape of the lug. Any swamper type tire, Interco, IROC, what are they? TSL, TSX, the Hunk. Any swamper has this problem where at a certain point their shoulder gives way. The Crawler falls into a specific category that I'm just going to call it the Crawler with a K group of tires. They fall into a similar problem as well. This includes the J-Concepts Landmine. This includes, I would say, oh, I can't remember. It's not the Pivot, it's the other one. It's not the Pivot, it's the other one. I really like them in the Louise Class 1, and it's on the tip of my brain, and maybe I'll holler it out, maybe I won't. These fully non-directional, usually monoblock lug, they kind of go where they want to go. And atop that, the Landmine jumps immediately to mind, along with the Crawler, as being something that is pretty choosy about its insert. Because we have those mono lugs, because we have more lug than empty space, the choice of your insert can kind of make or break your experience. The Crawler, the last set, whatever compound they were Predator G, I don't remember, on wispy soft inserts, didn't do well on the side hill for the exact opposite reason that these didn't do well. And for me, that is the Crawler with a K problem. Same with the Landmines. Very recently, somebody just asked me, oh, if I was going to buy one set, if I was going to buy Landmines or I was going to buy Tusks, which one would I buy? And I was like, well, I guess the simplest way to say it is I own 2 sets of Landmines and I own like 8 sets of Tusks. See? It's the same for the Crawler, because the Crawler to me is Proline's Landmine. It's the Proline J-Concepts Landmine. Would I take a Hunk over these? Yes, because there's more predictability, because we have a uniform tread. We don't have a monoblock. We have different sized tread blocks. So what you have to do is, I hate to do this to you. I feel like I'm giving viewers a homework, and that is this. If you are willing, actively engaged in buying a tire purely for its aesthetic, right? So this applies to anything scale, honestly. If you're willing to buy that, you are willing to accept those caveats. You have to know that you are making a sacrifice for vanity. Because there's another tire that might look otherworldly, that is going to give you more performance with less investment in time testing inserts, buying inserts, fooling and fiddling. I have someone on the Discord recently that was talking about how they cannot get extreme route lampreys to work. And I believe it. I can't get any pit bull tire to work, and people have great fortune with them. They have great fortune with crawlers as well. But for me, the thing that would be itching at the back of my mind is, I've done well with the crawler, but could I do better? Is this performance truly optimized, or have I not stumbled upon that perfect insert that makes these tires that much more perfect? So if nothing else, I hope that then in this installment, which is as reduxy as we can redux, we've got a mixed compound on aftermarket inserts, on aftermarket one, on everything. Everything just spitting all over the tire test protocol. The only thing that was represented of the protocol here is that we did the 10 stations. We did the wet. And I hope that if you just, if nothing else, just look at how the tire moved on the rocks and take away what you will. Because I have no conclusions for you. I really don't. I think that these could be made to do better, but at the same time, I don't think I want to invest in the time in it, because they're going to have the crawler problem, just like landmines do, just like the tire from Louise that, why can't I remember it? It's not the pivot, it's the other one. It's one of my favorite Class 1 tires. Flat irons is another one. It's kind of the same thing. You get this non-directional thing to it. There's really something to the design of a tire, and there are some things that don't translate from full size to scale. What I do like about this tire is that if it has definitely made me introspective. Like, this outro is taking forever because I have way too many thoughts and ideas about the crawler with a K. Take all of this as you will. I'm not condemning anything here. I'm just saying that this is a tire that might make you work. I can't even say that it will. There have definitely been instances where we get a rig, we mount up a set of tires, whatever that tire might be, with an insert, and it just sings. And you're like, whoa. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And I think it could happen. It could happen to you. But if you buy a set of crawlers, or you have a set of crawlers and they haven't been singing for you, then I hope that I've shed some light on potentially why. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the work so that they will return on your investment. And I don't know if I feel like doing it. Scorpio, there's another one. It's not the one that I'm trying to think of from Louise. It's not. I don't have it. It won't come forward. It won't cross that brain to mouth barrier. Yeah, there are a lot of tires out there. The Scorpio is very crawler as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. I have filled thine ears and maybe eyes a little enough for today. I thank you for joining us. If you have any crawler related with a C or a K comments, questions, or concerns, please do put them in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And in between now and then, I hope that you one and all do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We will see you again here from the canyon. Baseline and I will go, and he's going to be just full of dirt on the inside. So we're going to go clean that up. And I will send you on your way.